10 Classical music composers you should know. They differed in style, skill, innovation, and popularity, and nothing sparks more heated debate among classical music scholars and fans than determining which of these Western classical composers is the most important. Beethoven, Bach, and Mozart are the three composers who consistently rank first. Scholars and fans differ on the rest, but those listed below are widely regarded as among the most important. Ludwig van Beethoven 1770–1827. Ludwig van Beethoven, a German composer and pianist, is widely regarded as the greatest composer who ever lived. He expanded on the classical traditions of one of his teachers, Joseph Haydn, and Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, and experimented with personal expression, which influenced the Romantic composers who followed him. Despite the fact that his life and career were marked by progressive deafness, he was able to compose some of his most important works during the last 10 years of his life when he was nearly deaf. Beethoven's notable works include Symphony No. 9 in D minor, Op. 125, Symphony No. 5 in C minor, Op. 67, Moonlight Sonata, and Für Elise, which expanded the scope of sonata, symphony, concerto, and quartet. Johann Sebastian Bach 1685–1750. Johann Sebastian Bach was a Baroque composer and organist from Germany. His contemporaries admired his musical talent but thought his compositions were out of date. A rediscovery of his work in the early 19th century sparked the so-called Bach revival, which elevated him to the status of one of the greatest composers of all time. Brandenburg Concertos, The Well-Tempered Clavier, BWV 846–893, Suites for Unaccompanied Cello, BWV 1007–1012, Orchestral Suites, BWV 1066–1069, and Mass in B minor, BWV 232, are among his most famous works. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart 1756–1791. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, an Austrian composer of the classical period, is widely regarded as one of the greatest composers of Western music. He is the only composer who has written and excelled in all musical genres of his time. Mozart began his career as a child prodigy, rumored to have been able to play music at the age of 3 and write music at the age of 5. The Marriage of Figaro, Elvira Madigan, and Clarinet Quintet in A Major, K581 are among his most famous works. Johannes Brahms 1833–1897. Johannes Brahms was a Romantic-era German composer and pianist, but he was more of a classical disciple. He composed in a variety of genres, including symphonies, concerti, chamber music, piano works, and choral compositions, many of which show folk music influence. Symphony No. 3 in F major, Wiegenlied, Op. 49, No. 4, and Hungarian Dances are among his best-known works. Richard Wagner 1813–1883. Richard Wagner, a German composer and theorist, extended the opera tradition and revolutionized Western music. His dramatic compositions are notable for his use of leitmotifs, which are brief musical motifs for a character, place, or event that he skillfully transformed throughout a piece. The operas The Flying Dutchman, Tannhauser, Lohengrin, Tristan and Isolde, Parsifal, and The Ring of the Nibelung, which includes the Valkyrie, are among his major works. His work transcends his character, which was defined by megalomaniac tendencies and anti-Semitic views, making him one of the most controversial figures in classical music. Claude Debussy 1862–1918. Claude Debussy, a French composer, is widely regarded as the father of modern classical music. Debussy created new and complex harmonies and musical structures that are reminiscent of the work of Impressionist and Symbolist painters and writers. Clair de Lune, La Mer, Prelude to the Afternoon of a Faun, and the opera Pelléas et Mélisande are among his major works. Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky 1840–1893. Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky became one of the most popular Russian composers of all time by writing music with broad emotional appeal during the Romantic period. He was educated in the Western European tradition and incorporated elements of French, Italian, and German music into his own Russian style. Some of his most well-known works, such as Swan Lake, The Sleeping Beauty, and The Nutcracker, Op. 71, were written for ballet, but they also include Piano Concerto No. 1 in B-flat minor, Op. 23, and Marquet Slave, Op. 31. Frédéric Chopin 1810–1849. Frédéric Chopin was a Romantic-era Polish-French composer and pianist. He was one of the few composers to devote his entire career to a single instrument, and his sensitive approach to the keyboard allowed him to fully utilize the piano's resources, including innovations in fingering and pedaling. Thus, he is best known for his piano music, most notably Nocturne, Op. 9 No. 2 in E-flat major, Nocturne in C-sharp minor, B. 49, as well as Heroic Polonaise. Joseph Haydn 1732–1809. During the 18th century, Austrian composer Joseph Haydn was a pivotal figure in the development of the classical style of music. He was instrumental in developing the forms and styles of the string quartet and symphony. Haydn was a prolific composer whose works include Symphony No. 92 in G major, Emperor Quartet, and Cello Concerto No. 2 in D major. His works are frequently described as light, witty, and elegant. Antonio Vivaldi 1678–1741. Antonio Vivaldi was a Baroque composer and violinist from Italy. He composed music for operas, solo instruments, and small ensembles, but he is best known for his concerti, which alternate virtuoso solo passages with passages for the entire orchestra. He composed approximately 500 concerti, the most well-known of which is the Quartet of Four Violin Concerti titled The Four Seasons. His Mandolin Concerto in C major, RV 425, Concerto for Four Violins and Cello in B minor, Op. 3, No. 10, and Concerto for Two Trumpets in C major are all witty and complex.